Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Coach to Coach Show. I'm Martin Rooney, your host for this show, and you probably know that because if you're watching this from hopefully my Facebook page, so you know who your host is. And as I have mentioned, I'm going to try to every Wednesday, as long as I am, I guess, in Wi-Fi, I'm going to try to bring you some really important information as we talk coach to coach. Now, I don't know if you've heard, I am trying to hit the airwaves that I have a new book coming out called Coach to Coach, and that's exactly what it is. It's an old coach or a more experienced coach talking to a less experienced coach, trying to deliver some very important information. And that's what a coach does, right? And that's why this will be the Coach to Coach Show. And I'll tell you what, I have got some really powerful information for you today. And during this, I'm going to try to keep it interactive. So, hey, I see Dustin, I see Josh, I see Tom down in Costa Rica, Kenny Hall on the West Coast. Hey, Rich, I hope all is well up in New Jersey. So, holy cow, we got people right now in different countries. We got people in all time zones across the United States. I think that's pretty cool. And I'm going to try to keep it as interactive as possible. And I'm going to have some questions for everybody at the end today, too. Wait a minute, folks. We've got Rod, Rodeo Star McKee from Casino, Australia, listening right now, too. So, Rod, I hope all is well. We're still trying to get your perfect roommate for the cruise. But I wanted to let you know that today I'm going to share a couple of stories because I think coaches should tell stories. And that's what the new book is. The new book is actually a fictional story, a parable, if you will, which is cool. But then I'm going to share a really cool, important concept. I'm going to give you this great concept that I've, whenever I'm always thinking about coaching, I want to share some of those things. And then today, I have got, whether you want to call it a secret, whether you want to call it powerful, whether you want to call it the formula that can get you anything that you want, well, I have that for you today. And I'll tell you what. It's almost foolproof, and it's so simple to understand, just not always so easy to do. But if you do the formula that I have for you at the end of this show, I promise you, man, the world is yours. Whatever it is you want, it's your oyster if you use it. And why? I didn't invent it. Thousands and thousands and thousands of the most successful people in the world in every endeavor, they all did. I just detailed it out. Right? With the help of one of my daughters, which I think is really cool. Hey, Marius, I see you on here too. Holy cow, we got people coming in from all over the world, and that's really neat. I picked this time. So, hey, also too, guys, if you have a best time that you think this show can happen, let me know. Because right now I'm trying to accommodate the East Coasters. I know it might be a little early in the West Coast of the United States. I know people are up and awake the next day in Australia. Unfortunately, sometimes it's my European friends that miss it. But you can always watch this again if you don't want to interact. Or, hey, you can always interact and put some questions or ideas below. But you can always see it taped and it'll live here on this site. But today's first story, a powerful one. One you might not know. And the reason that I know this story so well is that it actually happened on the same day that I was born. And that's why I think that one stands out for me. And I think through history, this story is going to stand out for you too. So I was born on August 4th, but this was a little earlier than I was born. And this was August 4th, 1936. So if you are a sports fan or a historian, you should know that one of the most impactful and historic sporting events of all time was happening on April 4th, 1936. But there was more at stake that day than just awards, trophies, or medals. Now, what I'm talking about right there, if you haven't already put the answer down, is it was the Summer Olympics, the Olympic Games. And in 1936, there was some turmoil going on in our world, and those Olympic Games were held in Berlin, Germany. So they were held in Berlin. These were, as many people will remember, these were Adolf Hitler's games. This was the big games where he was going to prove his supremacy. And there's a very famous athlete from the United States who stood up in the face of such tyranny and actually won 4 gold medals and completely foiled the plan that the dictator had. And if anybody knows anything about sports, that athlete was Jesse Owens. And Jesse Owens, at the point of when I'm going to speak on August 4th, if I have my history correct, he'd already won 1. It might have been even 2 gold medals of the 4. But on August 4th, in the morning, they were competing in the prelims of the long jump event. Now, there's some very interesting stuff that happened during this long jump event. See, in the long jump, if everybody knows, you got to run down, you got to jump either on the board or behind the board into the pit. They measure the distance from the tip of the board. And if you have scored high enough amongst all the competition, then you can move on to the finals. And then you come back later in that day and you compete in the finals and see who is the medal winner. Well, Jesse Owens does a practice run. So he thinks. He does his first practice run with his tracksuit, his warm-up suit still on. And the judges make him aware that that was his first jump. That counts as a foul. Now, at that point, imagine what you're thinking at this point. You've already competed. The pressure is on. You are representing your country. And you know deep down what is at stake here. And now you're 1 foul in the hole. You only got 2 more jumps left. Well, man, he gets disconcerted from this. This really bothers him. He's confused at what just happened. And then on his second attempt, he fouls again. So now he fouls again on his second attempt. And now he's got 1 chance left. 1 chance left to make the finals. And now he is stressed. He is definitely having problems here. And you know what? There's no coaches there to help you. When it's the Olympics, your coaches aren't there on the field with you. There isn't going to be a coach to save you now. Well, actually, that's not true. And it's not true because of something I'm going to share with you at the end today. See, there was someone there to coach him. One of the most unlikely people that you could ever imagine that would actually coach Jesse Owens up was a guy named Lutz Long. He was from Germany. And if you looked at this guy, you know, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, the height, you know, just representing Germany. This was like Germany's hero and a great long jumper in his own right. And Lutz goes up to Jesse Owens and can you believe this? Like his greatest competition, he coaches him up. And he says, Jesse, look, if you move back a little bit, all you got to do is make a certain standard right now. You don't got to jump the world record right here, but you got to make a jump to go on to the finals to get 3 more jumps later. So look, move your steps back, jump well behind the board so you don't foul, and you know you got enough in you to qualify. Can you imagine? Can you imagine coaching up your, I guess, fiercest competitor and what many people probably would have predicted was your arch enemy? But Lutz Long was bigger than that. And Jesse Owens did back up, and he listened to the coaching, and he calmed down. He jumped far enough to make the finals, and then later in the day came the finals. Later in the day came the finals, and Jesse Owens on his first jump hits a big jump. But Lutz Long, you ready for this? He ties him in the second jump. That now they're tied. So boom, he hits a big jump. Next jump goes, boom, Jesse Owens puts it out further, and so does Lutz Long. And then on the final jump, Jesse Owens put one out there that Lutz Long couldn't match. And Jesse Owens won his 3rd gold medal and then, remember, went on to win a 4th. And one of the biggest things that happened, which is very important, is when Owens beat Lutz in the final, the 2 men embraced. The 2 men embraced right in front of Hitler, who turned his back. And it was almost this message that, man, sports is bigger than any of these things. But, man, you can never, this is what I love, is you can never underestimate the power of a coach. And what am I talking about there too? Everybody's a coach. Like, this is my message for anybody listening right now. Everyone is a coach to someone else. This is a big part of the new Coach to Coach book that I'm putting out there. If you are married, you're a coach to your spouse. If you have children, you're a coach to your children. If you're a coworker, you're a coach to your coworkers. If you're on a team, you're a coach to your teammate. If you are a coach, you're coaching your team. You own a business, you're coaching those people too. Everybody has an opportunity to always coach somebody up. But unfortunately, few people understand their role. Few people identify or create the identity of a coach for themselves. And as a result, we don't always have incredible stories like the one that happened with Lutz and Jesse Owens. That's why they talk about it so much. But what I'm hoping with my mission and my movement, if anybody knows about it, between training for warriors and coaching greatness and my speeches around the world, I'm trying to make a world of better coaches. Because if we had a world of better coaches, there would be less tyranny. If we had a world of better coaches, there would be better health. If we had a world of better coaches, there would be less problems. Guaranteed. And I wanted to share that story because it's so powerful. But here's something interesting too. Jesse Owens and Lutz Long stayed in contact for many years after that. They would stay in contact through letters. You know, there was no internet or Facebook Lives like this. But unfortunately, Lutz Long served in World War II and he was killed. But what I think is very interesting is the final letter that he wrote to Jesse Owens. He said, "Someday find my son, and you have to tell him how things can be between men on this earth." Man, so still coaching him up, and that is somebody saw. And there's a great story of how Jesse Owens' daughter and Lutz Long's son came together at the anniversary of these Olympic Games and shared it. And it's just, man, guys, the power of that and how the story, Jesse Owens' story would have been so different if a guy didn't recognize his power to coach somebody else up, right? And I think we all need to recognize that power a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed that story. And like I always talk about, if you want to be a great coach, you got to have some great stories and you got to tell some great stories, right? And a lot of people say to me, they will say, Martin, how do you do it? Like, you always have stories. Here's what I'm going to say. Guys, one of the tenets of being a coach is you can never stop learning. You've got to be incredibly coachable. So where do I get them? In the ceaseless reading, in the ceaseless study, in the ceaseless questions that I ask anybody else. And man, that's where it comes from. And then you learn it. And then you get coach to coach with someone else and you share it. Because when the coach shares, everybody wins. When Lutz Long shared a cool idea, hey, Jesse, move back a couple of feet, you'll still make it. Man, he won, right? And actually, they both won. Because what I've also heard was that Lutz Long didn't want to compete against the worst. He wanted to test himself against the best in the world on their best day. When you're a champ, nobody wants to win easy, right? Like you want everybody's best. So you know you did your best too. So, hey, I'm going to throw some shout outs here because I'm seeing some other people. Jeff Han, Steve Feeney, Angela. Hey, congrats on your race. I saw that one again. And she just shared coaching somebody is one of the greatest feelings in the world. Absolutely. I see Dan Tirabassi. Hey, Corey Smallwood. I told you I was going to be on here with some good stuff. And hey, I just read Lutz Long. We got Luke Larson. We got a lot of L's right there. He's saying that's a good one. And hey, Marius, I love the stories too. And and you said, hey, he said there should be a download where we can buy all the motivational stories. Actually, there is. It's called the TFW Dojo. We have that where I have hundreds of those. But I digress. Now, we said that Lutz was a coach, right? But I'm going to take it even further. I'm going to give you a new idea, because I'm always playing with new ideas and I want to always push things to get everybody going further. Right. And I want to make sure everybody gets it. But before I do, man, there's a lot more on there. So Lewis, hey, tell Judy I said hello. She's always on fire. Charlene in in Alaska coming in. You didn't even have to say hi from Alaska. I already knew that, Charlene. And oh wait, and there's there's Judy too. And man, I can't wait for you to get the books too, because I know you're going to be talking about it. And hey, I see Brad Webb on there from Canada as well. So man, we've got a lot of countries. We got a lot of people. I love it. So shout something out, and I'll give you an opportunity to write everybody to write some things in below. But here's the new idea. You ready? Because I say a lot of things. You'll see in my speeches, a coach is this, a coach is that, a coach is this. Do you know what Lutz Long was? Do you know what he was for Jesse Owens that day? He was a spotter. Now you might say, wait a minute, spotter? Jesse Owens wasn't lifting weights that day. But see, I don't believe somebody's got to be lifting weights to be their spotter. But I do believe that many of the principles behind when you give someone a spot make you a great coach. And I want to share some of those right now because I think you'll be very interested. And here's where the idea came from. If anybody is following my life, then you know 17 years ago I had my first daughter. And at about 16 years, 11 months, and 364 days, I was already training her. And a couple of nights ago, we were in the gym and we were lifting, right? We lift weights. And we were in particular doing the bench press, and she was going pretty heavy. And what I really realized was there is no athlete in the world that I am more intent and focused upon when I am spotting that athlete. And I've trained Olympic gold medalists, world champs in many events, UFC champs, all this stuff. There is nobody I'm like even more lasered on during that exercise in particular than my daughter Sophia. And it stuck with me because she maybe didn't notice it, but I believe that she did. Now, see, she just maybe expected a spot because I'm her coach, right? And it's important to spot. I've taught her, hey, you don't do this lift by yourself. This is a dangerous lift, right? If you look at the history of it, somebody with maximal weight over their face and neck, it can be very dangerous. And here's the thing. Every time we count it out and I hand her the bar, she doesn't hesitate. She doesn't think twice. And I guarantee she has no fear to give her best. You know why? Because the bedrock of coaching, the bedrock of being a spotter is trust. So when you say, hey, can you give me a spot? You're saying, like, you trust that person. You don't just say, give me a spot to somebody you completely don't trust or don't think that could help you, right? Well, then, man, like when Lutz Long gave Jesse Owens that spot, he trusted him, he listened to him, and that because of that, the real magic happened. But here's the thing. Even with trust, once there is trust built up in a coaching relationship, which again, I will say it is the bedrock. And that's the bedrock in your business. That's the bedrock of a team. It's not just with your daughter or your spouse. It's with everybody. You got to build up that trust. And remember that you can lose it real quick too, so you got to maintain it. But even with that trust, I realized that I have to be very attentive. I got to be very attentive, and I got to continue to show that I care, which is another fundamental piece of coaching, right? These soft skills that we don't always talk so much about. When I see things about spotting, it'll be like, yeah, we have to spot, hold right here, make sure you pull with this amount, don't give them too much. But man, like nobody says, hey, you got to really show this person you care. You got to make sure that this person trusts you more than anybody when you got big weight on your back, right? And here's the thing. And then you have to be very focused. And how I say it, this is a saying of mine, every rep, every set. So see, when you're someone's spotter, you can't take a spot off or you can't take some time off. You got to work with them every rep, every set, every rep, every set. And this should be a coach's mantra, right? There's no lousy practice or, hey, it's okay to come in having a bad day. Or it's time to give a speech or a presentation at your work. Man, that just can't happen. It's got to be every rep, every set to build that trust, attentive and caring, because they're counting on you. And here's the thing. The next one, when you're spotting someone, whether you know it or not, you're listening. Another big thing a coach has to do, they've got to be listening. Now, this one, you're not listening to them talk. Maybe you're listening to them grunt, but when you're listening to their body. You're listening to how the bar is moving. You're listening to, do they look controlled? Do you think they've got it? And man, you're so deep in that listening that's where a lot of the answers are going to come from. But unfortunately, what I see a lot of times is, man, we're out there coaching and we're not spending any time listening. But man, when you're lasered in on that bench press spot, man, you got to be listening more than anything else in the whole world. And I'm challenging everyone out there. If you're going to call yourself a coach or put it on your back, you got to be listening. Because you never know when you might hear the most important thing you need to hear in order to help that person. Now, here's a cool part. What is a spot, though? A spot, you may also have to offer assistance, right? You may have to give some assistance. That's our job as a coach, too. And maybe the bar is on the wrong path. Maybe you got to offer some guidance, some new direction, right? Who would have thought so much just from a spot? But, man, and that assistance, it has to be the right amount. If you pull too much and you help them too much, you're not doing anything for them. You pull too little and you're letting them just struggle too far, maybe that was too much. You didn't help them enough. Man, the assistance, like Goldilocks will tell you, had to be just right. Man, all this from a spot. And the guidance, it had to be the right way, on the right curve, to match their strength and their gifts, which what I'm talking about here is, you've got to authentically understand each person. You have to understand everything from their personality and their drives to, ultimately what motivates them too, which I think is really, really important. And I think sometimes, hey, I want everybody to get this too. Yes, I am a motivator, but that only goes so far. That's for the pregame speech. That's for whatever else. But man, like, I'm way better at digging deep inside of what makes them tick in order for my motivation to work sometimes too. And I want to make sure that, guys, so that's also happening during that lift. So here's the thing. What are you doing during a spot too? Maybe I'm cheering them on right there, right? Like, you got it. Come on, you got it. And I'm only going to say the things that are going to match where they're at. I'm not going to say you got it and you don't got it, right? That breaks down the trust, but also then, I said the wrong thing at the wrong time. But I am going to cheer them on with enthusiasm, but I'm going to make sure that they're motivated and driven the right way. And with that assistance, you got to give them challenge. Right? If you've ever heard, you shouldn't let the caterpillar out of the cocoon with no struggle. The struggle is important. That's where the spot comes in, right? You can't ever get stronger until you push yourself beyond a little bit what either you thought was possible or what was possible. That's where the spot comes in. That's where the coach comes in, right? But it can't be too much. The load can't be too much that they're unprepared for. And it also can't be too light. There's not enough struggle. Coach has to know that really well. And what I'll share, the last piece too, and I like this one, is you got to know when to ask for one more. Final part of a spot, the last thing that I have to decide every time when and again, in particular, spotting my daughter. Okay, she just did that one. I'm listening. I care. She's got trust. And you know what? I use this little line. Right? And here's the thing. I've been lifting a long time, guys. I've spent my way more than 10,000 hours spotting people, in particular on that lift. So I know if you got one more in you or not. And I know if that one more is going to be hard and you're going to grind, and I'm going to know exactly how much help to give you. But here's what I say. Man, when I say one more and she might be a little hesitant, I said, I'm here. Like, and that means, hey, a lot of things to her. I'm here and nothing's going to happen to you, but I know you can do it. But I'm asking you for one more. And man, when that bar comes down, you'd be surprised how many times I don't even have to touch that bar and she gets it. And maybe that's the last piece, is the coach. Somebody's got to be there to ask them for a little more than they're prepared to do. And one of the ways that that's going to happen is that you believe in them before they even believe it themselves. That, my friends, is a little mastery session on spotting. So if you liked that one, and hey, holy cow, I got to shout out some more people that I hear right there. So, hey, I've got a guy that used to spot me in my basement on here right now in Saraville, New Jersey, Joseph JJ D'Amato. I see Wheezy Prano on this thing too. Wheezy, I hope all is well. Hey, Ivana, too. Some more people coming in from Mayapack. Hey, Mike Zanizer at our Rockford. Man, we got everybody in here tonight, and I hope everybody is that enjoyed that concept right there, because as always, I feel compelled to share some of these things. And why? Because here's the last piece that I had a little note for myself on it before we get to the formula. The formula, which can not only give you anything you want, but it's actually, you have to use it, or anything you want is going to be tough to get. And that idea is, we are all spotters for somebody else. Like every day, you're a spotter, helping somebody out of the car, helping somebody across the street, helping somebody in need, helping somebody, it might be in the gym and it's with a rep. It might be helping a coworker through some kind of challenge. If you use the concepts that I just shared with you about spotting, you'll start to see it's your opportunity to spot everywhere. And I'll make you this promise too. The more that you spot, AKA serve other people, that will be the ultimate measure in many ways of your success and your happiness, right? So if you are only there to serve yourself, it's going to get old and the road's going to get hard. But if you have figured out a career or an idea where you serve more and more and more people, I'm telling you, that's where the magic comes back, right? And ultimately, no matter what it is you do, there's got to be a way to serve somebody else with it. There's got to be a way to spot, right? So I see Jeff Hand just wrote in, coming in from Stockyards in Texas, and he likes that one. And we got Marius saying it again. We are all spotters. So Trucy, new idea. Now you guys have the ideas. Now you can go out, spot somebody different tomorrow. Now, here, I want to throw out there right now, because everybody is a spot to somebody else, right? And you've probably had some great spotters in your day. This is where we're going to get interactive right here. You've probably had some great spotters in your day that were coaches, and they might have said something to you. You know how I said to my daughter, I'm here. You've got it. I'm here. Like, well, what is it a coach said to you? What is a mantra? What is a motto? I want you to write in there your favorite, right? I want to hear your favorite mantra, motto. It could have been on the front of a t-shirt they gave you. If JJ's still watching, it could have been agile, mobile, hostile, like Coach Theodosatos gave us. But, which hopefully he's laughing right now. But whatever it is, I want you to share some of those, which I think is great. And I'm going to share a couple more shout outs. Hey, Matt Long. Hey, I hope all is well, my man. Your book is on my shelf. I'll never forget the speech you gave down here in North Carolina. So awesome. And hey, Van, I see you too. Always following your adventure, and I hope everything is going great. And now, so your guys' job right now while you listen to this, I want to hear, what's your best mantra, your best motivational motto, if you will, that was given to you by a coach, right? I think that'll be really, really cool. And I'm going to give you right now a formula that I want you to ingrain in your brain. And I'm going to detail this out solid for you too, right? And I love how this is going right now. I will say that. So here we go. Well, I told you about my oldest daughter. That's track and field. We were lifting. But now I want to tell you about my second daughter, right? She's an athlete too. And in particular, we say she might be the hardest working one in the house. She's actually not even here right now, because every night, and then on weekends, so every night she has swimming for hours. So she's a competitive swimmer. She's in year 4. And now it is every night, meets on the weekends. We were just in Greensboro, North Carolina for a big meet. And I'll tell you what, if anybody knows about me, I swim like a rock. I'm really dense. So there is no way I'm putting in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of laps she puts in a week. So hats off to her. But I came up with this formula for her. And she loved it so much, we put it on a big piece of poster board, and it hangs in her room as a reminder. And you know what? I felt compelled that if I was just keeping that to myself or to my kids, then everybody's not going to benefit. And remember, that's called coaching everybody up. Do not forget another big philosophy that the coach should have, just like Lutz Long. That's why I shared this story today. Here it is. You ready? When everybody shares, everybody wins. When a coach shares, like, so right now, Luke Larson just shared, hey, pain is temporary, pride is forever. So he shared an idea. If he shares it, he's not any weaker. Now he gave one out. Now people have two ideas. See, it's not like he gave away money and now you have no money. Man, when you give out an idea, now two people have the idea. It's like one candle lighting another. See, Lutz Long had information that was valuable and he just couldn't keep it to himself. He was compelled to coach him up. And that's what I'm doing for everybody now. Because if you've got kids and you can get them to understand this one and they follow it out, because I wish somebody would have told me about it sooner, again, maybe the world would be a little bit better of a place, right? I see some high fives. Thank you, Karen. Orlando saying straight fire. That's the only way I bring it. And here is the formula. Whether you want to use pluses or multiplications, that's what I've been trying to figure out. Maybe if someone is a mathematician, they can help me with this. But how I say is E plus F times T equals anything you want, right? So that's how we have it written down. E plus F times T equals anything you want. So you get to fill in whatever it is you want, you put it there, okay? And let me explain. I'm going to first explain what each letter is, and then I'm going to go deeper into each letter so you just don't forget it. And then I'm going to give you a little coaching mantra of mine that goes along with each one too. And remember, while I'm doing this, and hopefully I'm engaging you guys because I see a lot of people listening right now, and I see Matt Manti coming in too. Matt, I hope all is well. And, in Didsbury, Canada, stay warm. I've got your students writing me. They say, I forget how cold they said it was. So, man, stay warm up there at the Tim Hortons. But now let's explain this. You guys are distracting me. But remember, I'm going to distract you now. So remember, you can write in some of your famous or favorite coaching mottos or mantras that you got too. And I see Dennis Poirier is watching. Dennis, big shout out to your brother yesterday for his birthday. And finally, you get to see me talk. Holy cow. So here we go. E times F times T, or E plus F times T. What does it mean? E stands for effort, right? So it's the effort. So whatever it is you want, remember at the end of this formula, you will attain whatever it is you want, right? So do you want to speak a language? Do you want to win a world title in something? Do you want to write a book like I just did with the new book, Coach to Coach? Do you want to grow a business? Do you want a championship team, right? Well, whatever it is, first part, you got to put in the effort, right? Everybody should agree on that one. There's got to be a monumental amount of effort, or you've got to put in the appropriate amount of effort for whatever it is you want. Okay? You want a gold medal? Then you should really understand there's a whole lot of effort you got to put in, right? You want to learn a language? You want to learn Finnish? There's a whole lot of effort you got to put in, right? Period. Or then you don't get to say you want that, and you can't complain when you don't got that, right? That's E. And I'm going to go deeper in a minute. F, which I say might be my greatest strength, the one that I've tried to hone, and that I've tried to use with everybody around me like a stone and to sharpen their steel. F stands for focus. See, whatever it is you want, you got to put in the effort, but then you got to stay focused on whatever it is you want. And most of the people today that I see just cannot do that. They're very distracted, right? But first thing is E plus F. So effort plus focus. So you got to put in monumental effort. And man, you got to add focus to that. Because you can put in a lot of effort, but be doing 50 different things and never be good at anything, right? So effort, monumental, AKA massive action. I'm going to explain it more. F, focus. Sniper-like focus, right? That's what I like to say sometimes. Are you a sniper shooting in on a pinpoint? Or man, are you like a shotgun spraying all over the place, watching Netflix and complaining that the Game of Thrones season Ender wasn't so good? Like I keep hearing about, right? That person, whoever's complaining about, is probably not winning a gold medal. And then the T, which you guys should know. So now you've done this effort and you've focused and you've got this effort and this focus and this work. Well, you can't do it for a day and think you're going to win a championship. You can't do it for a week and think you're going to be fluent in a new language. You can't do it for a month and go play piano at Carnegie Hall. So what am I talking about there is you got to multiply it by time. And it's got to be a lot of time. A line I'm going to use with you that really inspired me. That's why I said that I started training my daughter pretty much the minute the umbilical cord was cut. I actually didn't do that. We fed her first and, then we started training. Well, what I had learned when I lived at the Olympic Training Center from my Russian coaches, he said that they used to have a saying in Russia. And the saying was, you give me 19 years and I'll give you a world champ. So they understood. That was the formula. Like the formula. So give me 19 years, lots of time. Well, and if I want a world champ, then I probably got to put in tremendous effort and focus on that thing. But man, they knew the time aspect was really important too. But now let's take it a little deeper, right? And hopefully if you are enjoying that one, let me know. Remember, everybody can always comment in, which I think is great. Hopefully I'm not paralyzing you with these ideas, but here we go. So E, what does it stand for? Somebody write it down. Somebody type it in fast. What does the E stand for? And once I know it's been typed in, I will move on to the next thing so I know people are listening, right? Somebody give it to me. Or do I got to scroll? Okay. Somebody type in what E stands for and then hit the return. Or, man, I'm going to have to keep moving because I don't want to. Oh, there we go. So Matt Long, fast hands right there, just as fast as he runs too. Sean came in second. I like that one. Man, now they're all popping in. Suzanne, thank you. And that is effort, right? Right? And here's the thing. What does effort really represent? If you want anything, you got to take action. I've talked about this before. Listen to this one. Why don't people put in the effort? They're either afraid or they're lazy. That's what it comes down to. They're either afraid, they don't want to do it. Oh man, if I say I want to speak this language or win this medal and it doesn't happen, what's going to happen? Or I'm not going to do it. So if they say that, the antithesis, right? The antidote to that is action. And if you put in enough action often enough, that's effort. Right? And here's what I'm going to say, though. Notice when I said often enough. So what am I talking about here? The effort needs to be consistent. Anybody can maybe play piano twice a month for 15 minutes. You're never going to get great that way. You took too little action. So it's got to be consistent action, massive action for what it is that you want to achieve. Right? So I just want to detail this out so everybody understands it, because I don't want somebody to write me back and say, well, hey, I put in the effort and I didn't become great like you said, because then I'm going to ask you, well, pinpoint for me where it failed. Oh, you spent 15 minutes every once in a while on something? Yeah, you don't deserve to be great from that. Right? It's because the person that puts in 5 hours a day on that thing with consistent action, and by the way, that action, when I say consistent, that leads me to the next word, and that's perseverance. So do you see how we're going deeper here? So it's we've got, I don't know how to make an E right here, but we've got our E, right? It's effort, which is action, but the action has to be consistent. And the deeper we dig down the rabbit hole, if you're consistent long enough, you persevere. And if you can persevere longer than most, if you can keep going when everyone else has given up, then you get the golden cup. Oftentimes in life, right? So what am I talking about there? If I were to sum that up as my little mantra of how I say it, what I call consistent effort, persevering over time. My line for myself is, I got no B game, baby. There's just no B game. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope if you've seen me speak before, or you've seen a video of mine before, or you've read a book of mine before, like the new book coming, Coach to Coach, you would probably say, man, Martin always gives everything he's got. He's putting his heart and soul into what he does. Holy crap, it's 7:40. He's worked a full day, and it's Facebook Live time, and he's going wild with veins in his neck. How does he do it? You know why, how I do it? Because there's no B game. It's constant effort, consistent effort, and I will persevere where everybody else that wanted to do this thing didn't, because they didn't put in the time. And the same will hold true for my workouts, and the same held true when I wanted a black belt, and the same held true when I wanted to build a business. All of those things I have found, man, consistent action persevered over a long time with discipline rarely fails you. And even if you don't get the thing exactly what you wanted, you're going to be okay with it because you know you gave your best. Because you didn't rely on B game. So, whether you want to say bring your A game, I got no B game, whatever it is, hopefully that motivates you. Which takes us to F right here. So what is F in the equation? Somebody type it in. And hey, I'm seeing Silvestro is on. Hey, Daniel is in. Yes, Angela throwing out some Sisu right there, which is persevere, bringing it from Finland. So somebody type it in. What does the F stand for? And then I will detail it out for you. There it is. Kurt wins it right there with focus. Thank you, Kurt. So you didn't leave me hanging. Matt, I'll take that, Matt, coming in from Didsbury. It's so cold there, the word focus probably traveled slower over the ether, right? But here we go. Focus now. I've already given you some hints. It's kind of like sniper versus shotgun, being lasered in, like lasered in. If anybody is picking up the Austin, what was it? Now I'm losing my mind. The Holy Crow. I'm all over the place. It's too late. But Austin Powers, that was his name. But focus, I want to give you another word because I'm giving these big words, right? One big word, action, consistent, perseverance, discipline. But now under focus, here's a biggie. You ready? Clarity. Clarity. I want to share with you a powerful line that I heard long ago. Clarity is power. And what do I mean by that? When you're crystal clear on something that you want, when you're crystal clear on exactly what you need to do, you are very powerful. But if you don't know where you're going, or you don't have direction, or you don't have the directions, then it's very difficult to achieve what you want. And a lot of people that I meet, unfortunately, they lack clarity. And here's what I mean here. I'll say, hey, do you want something? They'll say, I want more money. How much? I don't know. Hey, you want to lose some weight? Yeah. How much? I don't know. Hey, you want to build a business? Yeah. What kind? I don't know. No clarity, no power. That's focus. And in order to direct your focus better, here's the next word that goes with clarity and focus, and that is mission. Right now, why am I doing this? If you were to really ask me, Martin, why are you sharing this information? Why are you now, you have descended into your office and spending time away from your children? Why are you doing that? And it's because I'm on a mission. I'm very focused. I am very focused on making a world of better coaches. And if I have the information that can do that, I need to share that. Because I will drop a rock in the ripples of the world and they will ripple out and people might have a better chance to be better because of something I either say or do. That is the mission. And because of that, I'm able to stay very focused and I know exactly what I need to do sometimes. And unfortunately, again, when I ask a lot of people, what is your mission? Like when you woke up today, what's the mission? And a lot of people don't have it. And I'm begging you because see, if you're a coach and you don't put in the effort and you're a coach and you don't have clarity, then I am promising you it will be very difficult to give that to someone else, to pull that from someone else, to demand that from someone else. So it is our responsibility. It is our duty as a coach, as a spotter, for us to put in the effort and for us to have clarity of mission, because I'll tell you this too, and this is pretty cool. When you're clear on the mission and you know where you're going, people will follow you and they will listen to you. But if you don't do those things, I'm promising you it's going to be very difficult. Now, to get that even deeper down into the mission. Now, once you have the mission, then what do you need? You need some goals, right? So then once you've got the mission, then you need some goals. So you see how it's like, wow, effort went from action to discipline to perseverance. And then focus goes from clarity to mission to now we're getting granular down to the daily goals of what you need to achieve. See, this was a goal for me today. Every Wednesday, I want to do one of these. This is a goal. You see how it works? Staying super focused. And man, and everybody on today, hopefully you're benefiting and you agree from it too. Now, here's the mantra for that. You ready? I use this one. And I say, go for the win. If you're going to stay focused, you have to go for the win. And what does WIN stand for? It's an acronym. It stands for what's important now. So what's important now? What is important right now? Right now, the most important thing in the world for me is to do this live and rock it. So I see those little like things popping up and everybody having fun. And I see Thomas is coming in from Washington. And I see Bethany Hart. I hope all is well. And man, hey, there's Malik too out of Burlington, Ontario, about to run a TFWC. I gotta stay really focused and lasered because I understand what's important right now. And that's getting the message across. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If throughout your day you always consistently ask yourself every half hour, what's the most important thing right now, and you do it, and you do that with effort and action long enough, you're going to lead a pretty cool life. Because unfortunately, again, a lot of people I meet are spending a whole lot of time on a lot of stuff that's not important. Which takes us to the last one. And so somebody write it in. What does the T stand for? If you're still with me, holy cow, I can't believe that I have just ripped this for this long. But hey, hopefully you're still enjoying it. Hey, what is the final T stand for? What does T stand for? Somebody give it to me. And then, hey, we will bring this to a close, I promise. But somebody let me know what the T stands for. It usually takes a second for those to start popping up. And I want to, and then we will keep moving. So remember, E was for effort. There it is. Matt Manti coming in first with time. F was focus. And now, time. And if I were to break time down now to one of the most important components, right, I'm going to give it to you right here. Patience. If I could go back, so my new book, Coach to Coach, really, guys, you know what it is? I pictured it when I wrote it that, what now where I am, that when I started 25 years as a coach, what would I say to that kid now? And that was the genesis of this whole parable book that I can't wait for you to get your hands on. And I'm going to tell you how you get your hands on after this. But you know what I would say? I would say be more patient, man. Like, what's the rush? Like, you're rushing too much. You're trying to read, but maybe you're not learning it all because you're trying to read it so fast just so you can devour it. You're trying to get here and here and here and here, but it takes time. You got to be patient. Remember, give me 19 years, I'll give you a world champ. Not give me 2 weeks or 21 days. So time is patience. And I want to remind everybody, nothing great was achieved overnight. Six-pack abs are not achieved overnight. And I'm going to give you 2 bigger words that go with patience that I think are hallmarks of successful people around the globe. The first one is the ability to delay gratification, which again, in our instant society is getting harder and harder to do every day. And then the other one is to think long term. If you don't have any money saved right now and you're listening to this, you're not thinking long term. If you have not prepared your life in any way or your career or what you're not studying right now, you're not thinking long term. If you engage in horrible habits, whether it's smoking, too much drinking, I don't know, just negligent behaviors, the wrong food, you're not thinking long term. And it's hard, I get it. You got to delay that gratification and you got to be patient. But what I'm going to promise you right now is if I had not done that, there would be no book coming out and there would be no company that had been built. And I wouldn't still be in the shape that I am in. But I have been able to do those things because I understand the power of patience, delayed gratification, and man, I'm always thinking long term. And my coaching, coach you up little mantra for that. So remember, we had no B game. That's for giving your effort. Like, man, there should be no B game. You should be giving your best effort. Remember, for focus, it's like, what's the win right now? So what is important now? What's important now? And now I'm going to give you one that I really love, and I want to see if you can stick to it. Don't give up. Or here, not give it yet. Ready? I'll say it better. Now I'm coaching myself up. Don't sacrifice what you want now for what you want most, if I'm saying that the right way. So you got to be able to give up what you want now for what you want most. And that includes how you spend, how you eat, your interactions, your career. You got to always remember that's what the mission is. What do you want most? And if you can keep that in sight, even with these other things in between it, man, you're going to have a chance to be more successful. And that, my friends, is the E plus F times T formula to get whatever you want. I'm challenging you right now. Whatever it is you want right now, here's how it simply works. Whatever it is you want right now, and if you don't have it, I want you to look either in the E, the F, or the T, and you'll probably find your answer why it's not happening. And then once you have that answer, attack it, and that thing will be yours. So if you liked that one or you thought that was cool, I want you to, comment in there. Even if you're watching this and it's not live anymore, I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you're jumping on late, man, I shared a story at the beginning you got to hear. I loved how that came out. And hey, now here's the final thing I'm trying to coach you up about. The final thing I'm going to ask for now, because I need your help. As you've probably heard over the last year and a half, I wrote a book. It's a departure for me. It is a coaching parable, a fictional novel, if you will, based on what I would say are real events. But it teaches you how to be a coach. It teaches you the importance of a coach. How I look at it, I am calling it the Hippocratic Oath for coaches. It's the thing that you should read ever first before you've ever been charged with working with someone else. And you know my style. It's stories within a story. You're going to love it. And it is coming out in 6 weeks. But to prove to the publisher that I am real, I got to have sales before that happens. It is available on Amazon.com, and here's the deal I have for you. If you buy one, give one. So if you order 2, I have put together some really, really cool materials for you. In particular, the 15 exercises you have to know to be a great coach. And I have created something called the Coach's Creed, which I believe should be printed out on your wall that you read before you ever step out onto the track, onto the turf, onto the court, onto the field. And if you had those 2 things, you would be a better coach. And I'm going to give you those 2 things if you help me out. And all you got to do, order 2 books and then send those receipts, so I know you got it, to Martin at coachinggreatness.com. So if you just copy your receipt, which a lot of people have already done, and send those 2 receipts to me. See, you're on the computer now or on the phone right now. So I'm asking you, go on Amazon, just go get them. It's Coach to Coach by Martin Rooney, and I'm telling you, it's going to be the best gift you give somebody this year. And if you like the message you heard today, it is going to be, the best book you read this year too. And I put so much behind it, I can't wait for you to get it. But that is all I got for you. Holy cow, that was almost an hour of power, which is more than I expected. But if you enjoyed that, you got to go back and see it. I'm seeing so many names on here. I hope you go back. You got to listen to the original story, the Jesse Owens story. You got to look about how a coach is a spotter. And then I want to make sure, guys, you understand that formula, because if you understand the formula, you can have anything you want. So this is Martin Rooney for the Coach to Coach show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, again, write some stuff in below because I want to hear about it. That's the motivation that keeps me all fired up too. And hey, I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. I'm going to bring some more heat. So tell somebody about it. And my pleasure to present today. And guys, I can't wait till you have this book in your hands.